I now hand the conference over to Mr. Annamalai Jayaraj from B&K Securities India Private Limited. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you. Welcome to TVS Motors 4th FY21 Quarter Conference Call. We have with us today Mr. K. N. Radhakrishnan, Director and Chief Executive Officer, and Mr. K. Gopala Desikan, Chief Financial Officer. I will now hand over the call to Mr. K. N. Radhakrishnan for his opening remarks, to be followed by question and answer session. Over to you, sir.
Good evening everyone, and trust all of you and your family members are safe. We are confident that the country will come out of the second surge of COVID-19 quickly. We will definitely extend all help to our supply chain partners, employees, society at large to come out of the second surge. 2021 was a very challenging year due to COVID-19. The shutdowns in the first quarter and its lingering impact, the two-wheeler industry declined by 38% in the first half. But the second half saw a recovery in the industry, and the industry grew by 20%. Consequently, for the full year, industry registered a decline of 12%. However, TVS Motor, based on its strong portfolio and focused exports, the two-wheeler sales declined only by 5%, resulting in market share gain. Consequently, despite the loss recorded in the first quarter due to COVID-19 related shutdown, the PBT and PAT grew ahead of previous year. The transition from BS4 to BS6 compliant products in the market was very well accepted, and it was smooth. The focus on cost reduction and working capital helped the company to improve its profitability and free cash flow. We are glad to present the Q4 numbers. This quarter, the company recorded the highest ever profit. EBITDA 10.1%, 536 crores, growth of 119%. Profit before tax 387 crores. Last year, same period was 90 crores. Profit after tax 289 crores. Last year was 74 crores. During Q4, the two-wheeler sales in the domestic market have grown 41% and the international markets by 74% ahead of the industry. Industry growth was 24% in domestic and 33% in exports, international business. Month of March 2021, for the first time we crossed 1 lakh units milestone for two-wheelers in international markets. All our brands have done well, and we hope to maintain the momentum in 21-22. We have grown ahead of the industry both in domestic and international markets. Demand in international market continues to be robust. During the year, focused working capital management, improved operating performance helped the company to generate a free cash flow of 1,887 crores. These proceeds are used to reduce the debt, and company has become debt-free, net of cash. Lean stock with the dealers also helped to unleash the blocked working capital across the supply chain. Now let me get into this quarter. Q4, the revenue from operations grew by 53%, 5,322 crores. Vis-a-vis last year, 3,481 crores. Two-wheeler domestic sales grew by 41% compared to Q4 of last year against the industry growth of 24%. Exports grew by 74% compared to Q4 last year against the industry growth of 33%. Total two-wheeler sales grew by 50% compared to Q4 of last year. The mix of premium products, Apache, Ntorq, Jupiter Classic and above, continue to grow. Total sales of three-wheeler during this quarter is 0.41 lakhs. We registered the highest ever EBITDA of 536 crores, grew by 119%, 10.1% EBITDA compared to 7% of Q4 last year, and 9.5% was Q3 2021. PBT for the quarter is 387 crores. Last year was 90 crores. Profit after tax is 289 crores. Last year was 74 crores. PT TVS Indonesia, our two-wheeler sales registered a growth of 73%. We did about 22,298 compared to last year 12,902 in the Q4. We also sold three-wheeler 2,298 numbers compared to last year's 2,335 numbers. The PBT for this quarter in Indonesia is $1.6 million against last year loss of $3 million in Q4. Overall, for the year, the revenue from operations grew by 2%, 16,423 crores last year to this year 16,751 crores. Export sales of two-wheeler during the year grew by 13% over last year. Domestic two-wheeler numbers declined by 10%. Three-wheeler sales during the year declined by 29%. Operating EBITDA for the year is at 8.5% compared to 8.2% last year despite the Q1 lockdown due to COVID-19. PBT grew by 10% to 826 crores as against 754 crores during last year. May be noted that the current year PBT of 826 crores for the year is despite loss of 190 crores during the Q1 of 2021 due to COVID-related lockdown. Profit after tax for the year grew by 3%, 592 crores as against last year's 592 crores to 612 crores this year, despite loss of 139 crores during Q1. This is possible due to significant revival in the sales from Q2, premiumization, higher sales in international market, material cost reduction and other fixed cost reduction. Now coming to PT TVS. For the first time, PT TVS recorded profit for the full financial year. PT TVS two-wheeler sales grew by 10%, 58,901 compared to last year's 53,641. Q1, even in PT TVS, we had COVID-related lockdown. PT TVS sold 5,863 three-wheelers compared to 8,132 last year. PT TVS reported a PBT of $3.1 million compared to PBT loss of $5.8 million in the last year. Dividend. The board at its meeting held during January 2021 declared a first time interim dividend of 2.1 per share, 210%. Board at its meeting held in March declared the second interim dividend of 1.4. So total dividend put together is 350%. In the quarter, we have seen TVS Jupiter ZX Disc Intellego, which was launched in February. First 110cc scooter with the ideal stop start. Now, TVS Jupiter ZX Disc Intellego further enhances the FIADA philosophy by reinstating FIADA convenience, FIADA mileage, and also enhancing technologically advanced imagery. XL100 crossed the new milestone of 4 million. Thanks to all the customers. We respect them. TVS Apache RTR 200 4V, dual channel ABS, 3 ride modes, namely Sport, Urban and Rain, for an adaptable ride experience first in this segment. And 200 4V comes with adjustable front and rear suspension, adjustable brake and clutch lever, and a refined brake system. Coming to 21-22, again, the two-wheeler domestic India, this is the second wave of COVID. Two-wheeler industry, last year we know that after the first wave, it recovered in the second half. We expected the momentum to continue. Okay, the second wave resulting in increased COVID-19 cases have forced the authorities to resort to localized shutdown. This will lead to lower economic growth in short term and can impact customer sentiment. This can dampen the Q1 sales little bit. However, the announcement by the Government of India for vaccination to all above 18 years effective from 1st May is likely to help faster recovery in the economy. We expect Like last year, Q2, Q3, this year also, the two-wheeler industry to bounce back post-vaccination. 21-22, we have seen, 2021 we have seen good rural recovery. This year, thanks to the last year's good monsoon, and we are also expecting a normal monsoon this year. All reservoirs are full. Agricultural sector is expected to grow this year also. So this will definitely help the rural market. We believe that the adverse impact on the economy will be short term and minimal. We expect the economy to bounce back faster. While the second wave of COVID-19 is likely to impact Q1, we expect measures taken by the government will lead to stabilization of Q2, 21-22 and growth from the second half. Social distancing requirements will continue. Wearing masks will continue. Personal hygiene will continue. This will surely, the social distancing will result in growing consumer preferences towards personal mobility. Demand for the two-wheeler industry will be better. The company is cognizant of the change in consumer behavior, and we are well poised to realize this opportunity with its superior product offering. Exports of two-wheeler are likely to see a growth during the next financial year, fueled by consumption growth, stable economic and political situation in all TVS, in all the key TVS operating geographies. Stable crude oil prices will have positive impact on the oil-dependent economies of Africa, South and Central America, and definitely can boost exports of these two-wheelers from these countries. We are witnessing a trend of more premiumization in all markets. Therefore, we are confident that our premium products such as Apache, Ntorq, Jupiter ZX, Grande series will continue to do well, both in domestic and international markets. We will continue to invest in new products, and we are planning a series of product launches during 21-22. Raw material prices have gone up in the last 6 months, and company has taken judicious price increases. We expect the firm commodity scenario to continue for some more time. In the first week of April also, company has taken up prices both in domestic and international markets. On the EV front, we are happy to state that TVS iQube is doing very well. The customer response is excellent in Bangalore. We have launched it in New Delhi also now. During this year, the iQube footprint will expand to more than 20 cities. The portfolio will be expanded with newer launches. Company is substantially investing in EV and other emerging technologies. TVS Motor has a strong portfolio with brands like Apache, Jupiter, Ntorq, Star Range, HLX, Radeon, TVS King. And consequently, we expect TVSM to grow ahead of the industry both in domestic and international markets. Higher penetration of retail financing will be key enabler. Robust revenue growth, increased premiumization, continued cost reduction initiatives both in material cost and fixed cost will lead to sustained EBITDA improvement in the medium term. We are cautious about Q1 due to COVID second wave. The increased vaccination coverage and initiative taken by the government will definitely help the industry to grow from Q2. As demonstrated in the previous year, post-COVID-19 second wave, the company is confident of continuing the EBITDA growth journey. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on the touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Kapil Singh from Nomura. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Congratulations on a great set of numbers. Firstly, on the cost side, can you talk about how much was the raw material cost increase during the quarter, and how much was the benefit from pricing and how much from mix for And secondly, also, when you look ahead, do you see further margin expansion because of the improved mix?
See, the raw material cost increased almost 1.5%. I'm talking about last year Q3 to this year, Q3 to Q4, sorry.
Okay.
And we have taken price increases almost 1%, and unfortunately Q1 because of the COVID second wave that may give little challenges, and the cost reduction was almost 1%.
Okay.
So overall, I think we have managed well in terms of the price increases mitigating the cost increases.
Okay. So do you expect this trend to continue?
What was your second question? I didn't hear.
No. So on this only, I was just checking that do you expect this trend to continue going ahead? Because you said you've taken more price increases, right? So do they offset the cost increase?
The focus from the company on the premiumization and focusing on the premium products like Apache, Ntorq, Jupiter, ZX version and above, and also international market growth. These are all on the revenue side, so definitely that will continue. And on the cost reduction side, very systematic focus is happening on the material cost reduction. We are also increasing the localization. So on one side, VAVE, alternate material, alternate sourcing, weight reduction, that is very systematically happening. On the other side, localization is also significantly going up. So overall, the material cost reduction efforts will continue, and the fixed cost reduction, that will also continue. So overall, we are confident of the EBITDA growth journey going forward.
Okay. And so secondly, on exports, could you talk about, we've seen very strong numbers, 1 lakh plus kind of numbers. So those kind of numbers, can they sustain going ahead? Because you said that demand environment is pretty strong. Can we expect 1 lakh plus kind of numbers to continue?
See, we always look at keeping the minimum stock, lean stock, whether it is domestic or international. So we are pretty confident that the overall portfolio, the range, whatever we have in the international market has done extremely well. The demand is extremely good for all the models. Maybe few markets we may have some challenges because of the COVID, but the range, the customer pull from this market and our lean stocking policy will definitely help us going forward. So we are very confident about maintaining the demand and the situation, whatever we have seen in international market.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ronak Sarda from Systematix. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. So first question was, again on the exports front. I mean, while you highlighted the demand momentum remains strong, could you highlight how has the inventory position moved over the last 6 months? I think earlier retail sales were, ahead of wholesale. How has that situation panned out? Is the inventory in the channel normalized?
No, inventory in the international market similar to India. Only thing is we add whatever is the logistics time. Depending upon that, country-wise, we look at what is the lean inventory. We won't increase the inventory in any country, nor in domestic. Domestic, we always look at a 30-day, 27 days to 30 days kind of inventory. Of course, if during Diwali season and things like that, maybe it will go by another 2-3 days. Otherwise, we have been having this policy of keeping the right inventory with the dealers and sub-dealers. That has definitely helped.
Sure. Thank you. And the second question was on the electric vehicles in the in the domestic segment, both for 2-wheelers and 3-wheelers. So, how has been the response to iQube? What's the pipeline like? And again on 3-wheelers, do we have a product under development? Are we thinking of launching one? What are the challenges on the 3-wheeler side? I think 2-wheelers, a lot has been talked about in the last few months. What are your thoughts on 3-wheeler segment as well?
Two-wheelers, iQube is doing extremely well. Bangalore feedbacks are very positive, and we have got a very good booking now. We are ramping up. The capacities are being worked out, and the ramp-up is going on. Now we have also started in Delhi, and this year we are looking at over 20 more cities in India. So I think overall, and we are also strengthening the portfolio of the electric two-wheelers. So that will definitely help us going forward. Three-wheeler, we are also planning to launch vehicles. So as I said, this is one area we are investing heavily. Most of our investments will be behind EV and other emerging technologies, and that is the focus of the company.
Right. So when we say strengthening the portfolio, I mean, so what kind of products can we see over the next?
Closer to launch, I'll let you know more details.
Sure. And the final question was on the, I mean, if I look at the console profitability, it's still, almost like a 75 to 80 CR loss, which continues. While you said TVS PT has turned profitable, so which entities are now contributing to this loss?
I think these are strategic investments. Okay, I think we invested in PT TVS. Now, once it starts making profits, now we can always scale it up. The demand even in Indonesia is good. Like that, we have invested in new entities. They are, 1 to 2 years now. I'm very, very sure that they are going to give us very good returns in the future.
Sure, but is this coming from any specific entity, or this is distributed over many years?
No. One is TVS Credit Services, where because of the provisioning related stringent norms followed by the company, there is last year the reported profit was 100 I'm not able to see the numbers. Yeah, last year
TVS is 106.
This is for current year, and last year was 210 crores. Last year was 211 crores, and this year it's around 107 crores.
This is primarily because of the challenges we underwent in Q1. But
absolutely, because of Q1.
Yeah, that Q1 also, the focus on many challenges even in Q2 because of the retail financing industry itself had a problem because of the COVID wave 1.
In fact, Q4 we have...
Given that scenario, the performance of TVS has been commendable. Given the kind of challenges we went through in the Q1 and practically Q2, I think the last two quarters have been extremely good.
Yeah. Q4 has been close to 63 crores, better than the last Q3 as well as comparable Q4.
So this is the profit after negating first half losses, right?
This is overall profit for the year. Yes.
For the year, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, sir. All the best.
So this year, the challenges of the quarter one, I think like I said, for TVS Motor, the first quarter was 190 crores loss.
Right. No, I understand.
Yeah, TVS CS was also a huge loss. From there, year as a whole, 106 crores is commendable.
Yes, sure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Pramod Kumar from Goldman Sachs. Please go ahead.
Thanks a lot for the opportunity, sir, and congratulations on a standout performance. Sir, I think this question has been asked you a couple of times on this call and even for the last few calls now, given the margin performance. But the way you've responded, is my characterization right that you continue to aim for margin expansion even with the headwinds of commodity and local lockdowns, even in the near to medium term? Is that understanding right, sir?
Surely we will focus on EBITDA growth. Like I said, we have very strong portfolio of range of products. We have robust revenue growth. Only thing is the caution of Q1 second wave. We cannot ignore that, but government has taken many initiatives, especially the vaccination coverage for 18 and above. We are pretty confident that that will help the India to settle down. And if you look at many countries, what is giving us the confidence today, for example, UK is almost stable. I think they went through the vaccination drive, and if you look at the curve, I think, and the discipline, of wearing the mask and social distancing and personal hygiene, if we can, at regional level or certain level, if partial lockdown and some discipline, I think all put together, I think Q1, the second wave can be with the vaccinations. I think it will help India to recover faster. Okay, and I am very confident that, like last year, all these are going to help the pent-up demand in Q2, Q3 to help the two-wheeler industry in India. Rural will continue to do well thanks to very good monsoons and productions of agricultural products. And this year also monsoon is likely to be good. So sentiments are positive. The caution is more for the wave 2, which is in the urban area. But even urban will start responding by Q2. And with the kind of products what we have and the revenue growth of good growth and also premiumization with a better mix and continued cost reduction initiatives and excellent international business will lead to sustained EBITDA improvement in the medium term.
Thank you, sir. And sir, before I move to the second question, just wanted to clarify you talked about different riding modes on the Apache 200, which is a software thing. I just curious, have you kind of done this in-house, or you kind of buying it from one of these large component suppliers? Because it's a fairly unique technology for a 200cc motorcycle. So just wanted to understand, is it something which you've done in-house, or it's external vendor supply, sir?
See, we invest. Our strength is a very strong design and development team. That has been our strength. I don't want to exactly tell you what we have designed, what we have co-created with the supplier. I think our strength is a very, very strong team, design, development, and our quality. All of you know that we have been number one in J.D. Power. So that focus and investment in technology, in new technology, in EV space will continue.
Fair enough, sir. And sir, this question is more for Desikan and for you probably. Can you just talk a bit more about the balance sheet side of the performance, sir, in 4Q particularly? How was the cash flow and how's the? I see your filing says that you become virtually net cash, net debt free, but I think that includes some sales tax loans. So if you can just talk a bit more about the cash flow generation during the quarter and the year, and how is the debt situation or the liquidity situation, and also some specific color on the 4Q financial performance of TVS Credit. That would be great.
Sure. During Q4, the company generated a free cash flow of around 338 crores, net of cash flows. The whole year we have generated a free cash flow of 1,887 crores, and this has helped us to reduce the borrowings. We are almost net debt today, including the cash balance what we have, except the long-term government-related, sales tax-related borrowings, which are very, very interest-wise, absolutely 0.001%. Except that most of our borrowings are repaid or in the process of being repaid. Coming back to the cash situation, today I'm a cash rich company today, and that is going to help us even if there are any liquidity-related issues which we don't foresee in Q1 that can be managed. Coming back to TVS related performance, the book size of the company is 11,202 crores, and the gross NPA as of 31st March 21 was close to 4.9% as against last year's 3.9%, more by a percentage. On the capital adequacy, we are at 18.5%, and the credit rating continues to be at the same level. The collections for Q4 is much more than when compared to the comparable quarter. and the disbursement is around 2,400 crores against last quarter's 1,800 crores. The retail finance penetration for the TVS CS share is around 42.5% in Q4 of FY21. That's all on the debt equity is around 6.4 times, is again 6.2 times last time.
Fair enough, sir. Thanks a lot, and I'll come back in the queue. Thanks a lot, and stay safe.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of I'm so sorry. The next question is from the line of Jignesh Gandhi from Motilal Oswal Financial Services. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. My question pertains to the kind of price increases which we have taken. In fourth quarter, you indicated we have taken about 1% price increase. April would be similar, 1%, or it could be higher?
See, this year, first quarter, I spoke about Q4.
Right.
In addition to that, April 21st, we have taken another 1.6% price increases. Okay, and we have been taking price increases in international as well. So we are looking at the opportunities whenever we are able to increase prices. We are also passing on to the customer. So that will continue, because it is a combination of, like I said, on one side premiumization, on one side product mix, international business, on one side cost reduction. But when the kind of commodity increases go significantly higher, I think we are able to pass on a good proportion of that, and that focus will continue.
Okay. And so far, I mean, if we look at third quarter and fourth quarter combined, our total commodity cost inflation would not be more than 2.5% of what we have seen so far. Any sense how much more is yet to be reflected in our P&L? What's the magnitude you expect in, say, first half of FY22, given further inflation and commodity cost?
I think most of that is reflected, and that is the reason we have taken another 1.6%. This year, for example, Q1 is likely to be around 1.9%, and already we have taken up prices of 1.6.
Okay. So you're expecting.
So I think the remaining, that 0.3 will be covered through various cost savings initiatives and all the product mix and international focus. So it is a journey we have to look at.
Sure. That's understandable. And can you also share about what is your budget for capex and investment in FY22?
This year, the capex will be between 500 and 600 crores. We will closely monitor the Q1 situation and then take a call. But all these investments will be predominantly in EV and other emerging technologies, and of course new products.
Right. And investment?
I said about capex. I think investment maybe TVS Credit Services maybe about 150 crores, and other all other futuristic areas maybe another 100 crores or 150 crores, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. And lastly,
all these investments, whether digital or the future projects, are going to help the company. I'm very confident. I'm very, very confident.
Sure. And lastly, Mr. Desikn, if you can share export revenues for the quarter and spares revenues for fourth quarter and full year FY21.
Just give me a minute. Export revenue for this quarter is about. You are asking Q4, right?
Right.
1,732 crores is exports.
Okay. And spares for fourth quarter and full year?
Spares, just a minute. Spare parts is about 532 crores.
And this is including exports, right?
Yeah, all put together.
All,
Spare parts and all put together.
And for the full year?
For the full year, it is about 1,677.
Okay, great. Thanks and all the best.
That's it.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Shyam Sundar Sriram from Sundaram Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Good evening. Thanks very much for the opportunity. And wonderful performance, sir. Once again, excellent operational performance and cash flow generation. Many congratulations on that. So my first question is in the domestic front. If you see in the fourth quarter, we did see some increase in the consumer offers and schemes from some brands per se. With commodity inflation also inching up, do we expect any major price war as the market slows down because of the COVID impact, or do we see some pricing discipline being maintained in the market going forward? What is your read there?
I think almost the industry has been passing on the price increase reasonably. I think the belief is that will continue going forward also. Okay. As far as the other question, we don't participate in discounting of any of our brands. We have a very strong portfolio, and we want to continue in terms of the very good range. And as you know, even BS4 to BS6, we had ETFI and RTFI technology, which gave huge benefits to the customers. And even in the international market, the HLX series, Apache, Ntorq, TVS King, all are doing extremely well. So I think each company will have their own strategy. Okay, and I'm of the view that the material costs will be more or less depending upon maybe the Q1 may not be the right time because of the COVID second wave. But once the demand starts picking up in Q2, I think the price increases might come in. But please understand, I think the products are, as far as we are concerned, we have come up with certain technologies which are first in class. I explained to you, including.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, I'm not worried from TVS Motor perspective. I was just worried from an overall market perspective if there are any signs.
See, market perspective, we have to focus. I'm pretty confident on our range and the customer satisfaction and the feedback what we are getting. And I think the area which is helping us is TVS CS. Again, COVID wave 2 will have some challenges because again the collections and the focus on drive. But from Q2 it will again come back. So wave 2, that way it can, for a short term it can affect, but it will not be like the wave 1 because of vaccination and the drive from the government. So this time, I think, and maybe partial lockdowns might be there, but overall, I think you will see a better Q2 and Q3. Q2 onwards, you will see a better, the demand coming back.
Sure, sir. So my second question is in the export markets, similar to what we are seeing in terms of electrification trends in India. Is there any threat in any of the export geographies per se? The reason I'm asking is some of the African geographies are all taxi markets, majorly from a motorcycle perspective, which lends itself very well to an electrification mode per se. So is there any incrementally than the domestic market? Are you seeing a higher threat of electrification in the export geographies, or are these export geographies more insulated from this trend that may happen faster in India? So what are your thoughts on that?
See, I don't see electrification as a threat. I think it is going to be a new opportunity. I think in any international market there is taxi market, and then commuter segment will come. I think the road infrastructure is becoming better. Premiumization. I think these are all cycles you will see country by country. In our experience, we have seen that. And as you know, we are committed in investing in green technologies and remain committed. So it is IC engines as well as EV, and EV is also going to be the future technology, and we have seen these changes happening. So I am pretty positive about TVS Motor investing in the right technologies, and these markets I don't see it as a threat. I think it is a great opportunity which we have to embrace. These changes we have to embrace and move on.
Sure, sir. Sir, from the cash flows, I see we have invested in the subsidiaries close to 406 crores for the full of FY21. Of that, how much would be in TVS Credit for the full year in terms of investments? And if you can also share some plans on the Norton investment we made, any strategic thoughts that you can share, that will be helpful, sir. And one more, just added to that, in the balance sheet, I'm seeing the payables have sharply increased at the end of the year. Is there any change in trade terms? If you can highlight that will also be helpful.
Yeah, the capital infusion in TVS Credit Service last year was 100 crores. And we also invested in digital-related investments last year. That's around close to 20 million. Close to 17, 18 million. And Ultraviolet is also we had invested last year in one of the EV companies where we had invested close to 40 crores.
Right,
on the payable side, absolutely there is no delay on the payable to any of our suppliers. They are all paid on time.
Okay, understood, sir. And from Norton perspective, any strategic thoughts that you would like to share, sir?
I think the strategy is getting worked out. Now we have moved into a proper location for manufacturing. I think the team is an excellent team there, and we are setting up all the facilities, and we are working out now with the entire team. I think the focus is first to make sure that we start producing there, and then a very clear strategy is getting developed on product development, or first strengthening the organization, supply chain network. So it's a overall marketing strategy. So this, as I said, this is a great brand. It is a unique brand. It is a global brand. It is going to help us going forward.
Thank you, sir. Best wishes, and once again, many congratulations on your continuing strong operational performance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Amit Biyani. Please go ahead. So sorry for that. It is from the line of Amin Trivani from CLSA. Please go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can definitely hear you.
Sorry. So no, as I was mentioning that, still exports have actually grown on a YOY basis. So can you help us understand how much of it was market share gains and how much of it is driven by you entering new markets or new categories? Because it seems that you are definitely, doing better than your peers in the export segment.
We have grown in Q4 about 74%. Industry grew by 33%. I think most of the markets we have entered in practically less than 1 year or more than 1 year. So it's only existing markets and existing product range.
Okay.
We would have given some variants, not really new products. Okay, for example, HLX series, we already have 100, 125, 150. Maybe one or two variants we would have put it in certain markets. Okay. And products like Ntorq, we have a phase-wise implementation, so that would have come. So otherwise, it is all existing model and the range what is helping us. I think overall, the feedback from the market is customers like our products. Customers like our, they are delighted with the kind of, quality levels. I think that is the reason why it is growing very well. And these markets, like I said, most of the market, stable oil prices, politically stable now. Their COVID impact was there for a short time in Q1, but After that, the recovery has been much faster. So I think overall, availability of forex was also good. So overall, I think it was a pretty good year for the industry as such.
Okay. And just going back to your EV plan, so like you said, the iQube is ramping up quite well from one city to two cities now. So can you share any kind of monthly run rate that you would like to achieve over a 12 to 18 month period, or what is the kind of capacity that you can do if the demand really picks up for EVs in general?
See, we have to study market by market. For example, currently we are doing in Bangalore about 250 to 300, and I think there is a good pipeline of orders. So another 60 now we have gone. So it's very early stages to put a number to it, but the feedback is very, very positive and encouraging, because when we are going to be over 20 cities, I think we will see a good number, monthly number.
Yeah. So let's ask it slightly differently. In Bangalore, if you're doing 200 to 250, and say you enter 20 cities and all of them show good potential, which would mean that over a next 12 to 15 month period, you may have to do something like 5,000 to 6,000 a month. So is that something that you can easily do, or just trying to get a sense on that?
Yeah, capacities are not a big challenge. The challenge is you have to plan it in advance, and the supply chain, everything. And today supply chain is also responding very fast.
Okay.
Except for some challenges in the semiconductor industry. We had two challenges. One was the semiconductor, and last year sometime we had the container issue. So otherwise, I think today our supply chain in India is robust. Internationally, it is robust. They will very quickly ramp up. So that is not an issue. The challenge is the acceptance from the customer. That, according to me, we are getting a very, very positive feedback from all the customers.
Okay. Great. Thank you. I'll come back in the queue.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Hitesh Goel from Kotak Securities. Please go ahead.
Very good set results given the circumstances of increasing commodity cost. So what can you shed some light on this? Q&Q you said cost reduction has been around 1%. Is this, or this is pure VAVE?
See, the cost reduction has got all elements of lever, commercial lever. So VAVE is one of them. Improve.
Hello.
Sorry to interrupt. The line of the management got disconnected. Please stay connected while we reconnect them. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for patiently holding the line. We have the management line connected back. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
So, see, the material cost reduction will continue. The strategies include VAVE, it is process improvements and also weight reduction, alternate sourcing, localization, so and also scale benefits. So it's a combination of many strategies put together, and it will continue.
And sir, my second question is on, if you see the Vahan data in terms of retail numbers, the many months we have seen that auto retail volumes in two-wheelers is negative, right? And, this is a feedback we are getting from dealers as well. So what is your view on the demand side this year? What do you see industry growing at?
in FY22 because they were down last year. So, what do you think that?
Our estimate is the Q1 there may be challenges, but it may not be as bad as last year Q1. Thanks to the vaccination drive from the government and all the initiatives, there may be partial lockdowns in many places because of the intensity. I think the vaccination is going to definitely help the urban cities. And the rural side, I think the reservoirs are full and the agri production is going to continue to be good this year. And this year also expecting a normal monsoon. So
do you think
I think what is most important from all of us is to drive the three principles of wearing mask, social distancing, and personal hygiene. If these are adhered, I think this wave 2 also we will get over, and definitely from Q1, already April is going to be over in a couple of days. So Q2, May and June, I think it will not be as bad as last year. Q2 onwards, you will see things definitely picking up, and you will see, there will be good opportunity. And the international market, definitely market is continuing to do well, okay, because of the oil stability in oil prices and many other points what I highlighted, forex availability, the stability of the foreign exchanges. So overall, I think this year should do well. Okay, what percentage we have to closely study, and quarter by quarter we have to look at it. Again, we don't have any problems on capacities. We don't have any issues on ramp up. There may be some short-term challenges during Q1 because of this one, but every supplier has been supporting us, okay, in terms of supplying the parts.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
There are some challenges in semiconductor industry, as you know, but I think that also, those companies are making effort to support. So we'll have to see how it pans out.
Okay, sir. Great. All the best, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, due to time constraints, this will be the last question, which is from the line of Nishit Jalan from Axis Capital. Please go ahead. Mr. Nishit Jalan, please go ahead with the question.
They're not able to hear you. Hello?
Mr. Nishit Jalan has left the queue. So we'll move to the next question, which is from the line of Vijay Sati from Anand Rathi. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good set of numbers. Just wanted to understand one thing. Is it safe to assume that the average, the other expenses that we incur every quarter, say close to 505 to 510 crores, is that a sustainable number to look irrespective of the revenue that you will generate in Q2, Q3? Have we got the miscellaneous and advertising and other publicity expenses completely controlled? Because that has been the driver if I look at the full year numbers of yours. Vis-a-vis, while you've done really well on a gross level, but can we assume that and therefore your double-digit margin will sustain? Is that the way one should think about? Thank you.
See, the cost reduction initiatives will continue, and definitely the marketing expenses we have started online and digital, that drive will continue. So overall, the focus from the company is on leveraging the revenue growth, premiumization, cost reduction initiatives, which include fixed cost, and looking at digital way in marketing. So I think this is definitely going to help us in sustained EBITDA improvement going forward. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe. Okay, and it was nice interacting with all of you. Like I said, I think let us the Q1, while there are challenges, thanks to the government initiatives of 18 plus getting vaccinated from 1st of May, I think that is going to definitely help us. It may not be as bad as what we have seen last year Q1, strictly we have to adhere to the three principles of wearing mask and social distancing and personal hygiene. That will definitely help in significantly reducing the number of cases. And with respect to Q2, we expect the markets to bounce back. In international market, we are seeing very good demand thanks to our product range. So with a very strong portfolio of all the products, we are very confident that we will grow ahead of the industry, both in domestic and international market. Like I said, overall operating leverage, better mix, lower material costs and fixed costs will help us to grow EBITDA sustainably going forward. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. On behalf of B&K Securities India Private Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your line.